Every corner of the 1980s held adventure and danger for Gen X kids. From the schoolyard to the streets, they faced challenges, and their world was filled with risks and resilience. Riding in cars was a common mode of transportation for Gen X kids in the 1980s, but safety standards were vastly different from today. Seatbelts were not mandatory, and children often rode unrestrained in the back of the car or the cargo area of the station wagons, vans, or pickup trucks. Some even sat on their parents' laps, with their hands on the steering wheel. Without the protection of seatbelts, the risks of injury during accidents were significantly higher. Additionally, helmets were not commonly worn by children, even when riding bicycles or motorcycles. Understanding the importance of seatbelts and safety measures in vehicles was limited, and many children were unaware of the potential dangers they faced while traveling in cars. Car designs of the 80s lacked modern safety features, such as airbags and crumple zones, making them more vulnerable to collisions. Vehicles also had fewer visibility aids, like rear-view mirrors and backup cameras, making it harder for drivers to see obstacles or other vehicles. Moreover, drunk driving laws were not as strict as they are today, increasing the likelihood of accidents caused by impaired drivers. Despite these risks, riding in cars was an essential part of daily life for many families in the 1980s. It was how children traveled to school, visited friends, and went on family outings. The sense of freedom and independence that came with riding in cars outweighed the potential dangers for many Gen X kids, who often viewed it as an exciting adventure rather than a risky endeavor. Navigating the streets was a rite of passage for Gen X kids in the 1980s. Whether walking to school or riding bikes with friends, they had to learn to be street smart to stay safe. They faced dangers like speeding cars, reckless drivers, and busy intersections, requiring them to be constantly vigilant. Learning to look both ways before crossing the street and obeying traffic signals were essential survival skills. Despite the risks, the freedom to explore the neighborhood on foot or bike was an integral part of growing up in the 1980s. In addition to the dangers posed by vehicular traffic, Gen X kids had to contend with other hazards while navigating the streets. Uneven sidewalks, potholes, and debris could cause trips and falls, leading to injuries like scraped knees or twisted ankles. Dogs running loose in the neighborhood posed another threat, with the potential to bite or chase unsuspecting children. Furthermore, the risk of encountering strangers was ever present, requiring children to be cautious and aware of their surroundings at all times. Despite these challenges, navigating the streets provided valuable lessons in independence and self-reliance for Gen X kids. It taught them to assess risks, make decisions, and take responsibility for their safety, skills that would serve them well throughout their lives. Gym class was a staple of the school experience for Gen X kids in the 80s, offering a mix of physical activities and challenges. From climbing ropes to mastering gymnastic maneuvers, gym class provided strength building and skill development opportunities. However, these activities also came with their own set of risks, especially for those not accustomed to physical exertion. Understanding proper techniques, using safety equipment, and receiving guidance from teachers was crucial for ensuring the safety and well-being of every student during gym class. Gym class also presented social and emotional challenges for many Gen X kids. The pressure to perform well and meet expectations could lead to feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt, especially for those who struggled with certain activities. Moreover, the competitive nature of some gym class games and sports could foster hostility or aggression among students, leading to conflicts or disputes. Despite these challenges, gym class provided valuable opportunities for Gen X kids to develop physical fitness, coordination, and teamwork skills. It was a place where they could push their limits, overcome obstacles, and build confidence in themselves and their abilities. In the 1980s, the school environment posed unique challenges for Gen X kids. Corporal punishment was still a common disciplinary measure, often administered with a stern hand or a wooden paddle. While it was intended to instill discipline, it also created an atmosphere of fear and apprehension among students. The pressure to excel academically was another significant stressor, with students feeling the weight of expectations from teachers and parents alike. Bullying, though not always acknowledged, was also prevalent, leaving many children to navigate the complexities of peer interactions alone. In an era before widespread awareness of mental health issues, many struggled silently with anxiety and depression, and their struggles were often overlooked or diminished. Despite these challenges, the school environment was also a place of learning, growth, and camaraderie for many Gen X kids. It was where they formed friendships, discovered their interests, and developed essential skills for adulthood. Teachers played a vital role in shaping their experiences, providing guidance, support, and encouragement along the way. While the school environment of the 1980s had its flaws, it also had its strengths, laying the foundation for the personal and academic achievements of many Gen X kids. Playgrounds were a staple of childhood in the 80s, providing a place for Gen X kids to run, jump, and play to their heart's content. However, they were not without their dangers. The equipment, often made of metal and concrete, posed risks of cuts, scrapes, and even falls. Swings, slides, and jungle gyms were thrilling, but could also be treacherous, especially when used recklessly. Yet, despite the occasional bumps and bruises, playgrounds were a cherished part of childhood, offering opportunities for socialization, physical activity, and imaginative play. Gen X kids also had to contend with other hazards while playing outdoors. Uneven surfaces, like gravel or asphalt, could cause them to fall, leading to injuries like scraped knees. Furthermore, the risk of encountering aggressive or unruly children was ever present, requiring kids to navigate social dynamics and conflicts while at play. Yet, playgrounds for Gen X kids were places where children could explore, experiment, and express themselves freely, fostering a sense of joy and wonder that would stay with them long after childhood. The outdoors offered endless opportunities for adventure and exploration for Gen X kids in the 1980s. From roaming through wooded areas to swimming in creeks and rivers, nature was their playground. However, it also presented its own set of dangers. Encounters with wildlife, such as snakes or bees, were a common concern, as were the risks of getting lost or injured while exploring remote areas. Yet despite these challenges, the allure of the wilderness was irresistible, offering a sense of freedom and discovery that couldn't be found elsewhere. Gen X kids also faced risks associated with outdoor activities like camping, hiking, and fishing. Exposure to extreme weather conditions, such as heat stroke or hypothermia, could pose serious health risks if not properly prepared or protected. Furthermore, the risk of accidents, like falls or collisions, was heightened in remote or rugged terrain, requiring children to exercise caution and good judgment while exploring the outdoors. Outdoor adventures provided valuable lessons for Gen X kids to connect with nature, develop survival skills, and forge lifelong memories with friends and family. It was a time of exploration, discovery, and adventure that shaped their love of the outdoors and instilled in them a sense of stewardship for the natural world. In the 1980s, technology was undergoing rapid advancements, laying the groundwork for the digital age to come. While not as advanced as today's technology, there were significant innovations that shaped the era. Television became a staple in households, bringing news, entertainment, and cultural events into people's homes. Telephones evolved with the introduction of touch-tone dialing and answering machines. The space race spurred advancements in aerospace technology, leading to the first human landing on the moon in 1969. Additionally, the development of early computers and mainframes laid the foundation for the digital revolution that would follow in the decades to come. These technological advancements were just the beginning of the transformative changes that would define the latter half of the 20th century. The rise of technology brought new dangers for Gen X kids. While advancements like television and telephones offered convenience and entertainment, they also posed risks. Excessive screen time could lead to eye strain or sedentary lifestyles, impacting their physical and mental well-being. Furthermore, the introduction of household appliances like stoves or irons brought new hazards, requiring children to be educated on proper usage and safety precautions to prevent accidents. Despite these challenges, technology also brought new opportunities for Gen X kids to connect with others, explore new interests, and expand their horizons. It was a tool for learning, creativity, and communication that would shape their lives and careers in ways they never imagined. Despite the convenience of foods in the 1980s, hidden dangers were lurking in the pantry. Gen X kids faced risks like choking on small objects or food items, especially if left unsupervised during mealtimes. Additionally, the lack of food safety regulations meant that improperly stored or prepared foods could lead to foodborne illnesses. Learning proper chewing and swallowing techniques, as well as food hygiene practices, was crucial for staying safe at mealtimes. Gen X kids had to contend with other dietary hazards in the 80s. The prevalence of sugary snacks and drinks contributed to concerns about dental health and obesity, while the limited availability of fresh fruits and vegetables raised questions about nutritional adequacy. Moreover, the introduction of artificial additives and preservatives in processed foods raised concerns about their long-term health effects, prompting some parents to advocate for more natural and wholesome diets for their children. Despite it all, food was a source of comfort, pleasure, and nourishment for Gen X kids in the 80s. It was a time of shared meals, family traditions, and cultural celebrations that fostered a sense of connection and belonging. While the dietary landscape has changed dramatically since then, the memories of meals shared and flavors savored remain an enduring part of their childhood experiences. In the 1980s, awareness of stranger danger began to emerge as a concern for parents and children alike. With increased mobility and urbanization, Gen X kids encountered strangers more frequently, whether on their way to school or playing in the neighborhood. Teaching children to recognize and avoid potentially dangerous situations became a priority, with lessons on stranger safety and how to respond if approached by unfamiliar individuals. In addition, Gen X kids also had to face other safety concerns. The prevalence of unsupervised play and independent travel raised questions about parental oversight and accountability, while the lack of child protection laws and resources left many vulnerable to exploitation or abuse. Moreover, the stigma surrounding discussions of sexuality and personal boundaries made it difficult for children to speak up about inappropriate behavior or harassment, leaving them feeling isolated and powerless. Despite these challenges, the awareness of stranger danger brought new views on communication and empowerment for Gen X kids in the 1980s. It was a time of heightened vigilance, awareness, and advocacy for child safety that would shape their attitudes and behaviors for years to come. While the concept of stranger danger has evolved over time, its legacy continues to influence discussions and practices surrounding child safety in the modern era. Alright, those were just a few snapshots of the challenges Gen X kids faced every day. If you enjoyed this glimpse into their world, stay tuned for more in our next video.